Good morning, everybody. Sorry, Jane. So before we introduce Aging in Place, just wanted to give you a brief update on the police department. I don't know if you saw the Enterprise or if you're following us on social media, but a week ago Monday, I was actually this time out in Andover. I call them the Linfield 9. We had 9 kids graduate the academy. They're all training right now over at the police department. Absolute rock stars. 3 of the 9 were in the top 10 in the class, and they really are an amazing group of now police officers. So we're going to be training them for the next few months. So we're still a little short, but we're going to get the job done. When that was over, we came back from Andover. I really got a sense of, they had to drive 2 hours one way every day for 6 months. So their commitment. So we went down there with our honor guard to show our support to them, and very proud of all of them for their commitment to Falmouth. I was on the phone today with the Falmouth Police Academy, the individual that's dealing with the construction of that. So hopefully now we'll be able to send our recruits right here in Falmouth, so there's less of a hardship on those kids. So when we were done with that, we came back here, and Jill was nice enough to lend us this room. We were at the select board meeting here, and we swore in 6 lateral transfers in 7 command staff positions that I recently promoted. 4 sergeants, 2 of them are additional positions. I always say 2 areas of liability that faces law enforcement and policing these days is failure to supervise and failure to train. So we're taking care of those 2 things, making sure we train our officers to the best of our ability. We're doing things well here in Massachusetts. I think, we're leaders in the nation, quite frankly, not just New England. But we do a very good job. And those 9 that are training right now in the training room at the police station are a testament to that. We promoted a captain, a lieutenant, and a deputy chief. Brian Lowen is now our deputy chief, and I can tell you I'm not retiring anytime soon, but he will be replacing me. That's my goal when I leave. I'm a firm believer in having a clear, concise succession plan, and I want to make sure that I'm the last chief hired from outside our ranks. That's kind of the mission that I took on when the board, said take care of our people, and that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of our staff, our most precious resource, and quite frankly, they're taking care of all of us. So it's been an absolute phenomenal year for me here, as I'm really hitting the ground running, sprinting in year 2. We have 2 open positions right now. Deputy Chief Lowen isn't with us because he's actually going on our app, our hiring app, re-putting it out there, but we already have 4 lateral transfer applicants right now for these 2 positions. And we're also going to be looking to put people into the police academy in December. There's going to be a class here in Falmouth, December 9th. Just received notification today. So we want to give people a chance, but we also want to bring in trained people because we're so short. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do to raise our ranks so I can create a traffic unit to deal with some of the complaints that you have. I can maybe put a canine on the road dealing with some of the issues that we have. Maybe expand some of the investigative bureaus that we have in our department to better serve you folks, be a little bit more proactive. Our clinicians right now, last month they told me it's one of their busiest months since they've been here. It's just we've got a lot of mental health issues and a lot of issues where we really want to be better as a police department, and you need some tires that meet the road to get that done. So thankfully, I'm able to say to you, July 1st, we had 2 more open positions came up. That'll bring us to 67 with 4 laterals. I think that's significant in that we've hired 19 people since September and 2 clinicians. You look at Barnstable PD, they're trying for lateral transfers right now, and they're offering a $7,500 signing bonus, 0. And why is that? Civil service is a failed, antiquated system, in my opinion. We came out of civil service a year ago, July 1st, and I was able to hire 19 people since September. And I'm going to hire 2 more, probably lateral transfers. Why is that? We're creating a culture and an environment here in Falmouth where people want to work. We negotiated contracts, raised pay, and really provided some specialty assignments to engage our staff. The goal is career development and employee retention, right? We want to hold on to these 9, right? They signed a 3-year contract with me. I don't want them to leave in 3 years. And if they leave prior to that, they have to pay me back the money that we sunk into them for their training, right? That's their commitment to us, our commitment to them. You know, we put a lot, we invested a lot in those folks. So again, I'm very pleased to be here. Things are going really, really well. We're very busy right now. You name it, we're dealing with it, as I'm sure most of you see. But I can tell you, 4th of July went really well from my standpoint. I want to talk about that just briefly before I leave you. But you know, I went to the Heights, their association meeting at the yacht club after the 4th of July last year, and they were upset. And we explained to them, I explained to them what we were going to do this year. So we basically this year put out impact teams on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I ran a 90-person police department, which is what I think we should be. How did we do that? We did that by spending a lot of money on overtime. We brought in a bunch of state troopers, 25 on the 4th of July alone. We brought in the Barnstable County Sheriff's Department, you know, to really make sure we had a very, very safe, fun family environment. And that's what we did. We had a couple of issues. It is what it is, but nothing like last year. But there's a cost to that. And, you know, we're going to do the same thing, probably Falmouth Road Race, kind of get ahead of it, maybe a night before, just to make sure people are behaving and we have, you know, our beaches aren't trashed and property isn't destroyed. And we're going to try to keep the arrests down. By having that strong presence, prevented a lot of things we think from happening. The one thing I thought I'd get a little pushback on that I didn't, people were concerned about coolers apparently, but you know, we don't just go around searching coolers. We have cause to do that. I was surprised no one asked any questions about the drones. We were flying drones, and they were helping us pinpoint where the kids were drinking. And I don't know if you remember this, but before I came here 2 years ago, they had an issue where some kids dug a hole, they put some fireworks in there, it exploded, and a bunch of people thought it was like the Boston Marathon. They were yelling and running, and we caught some kids doing that with the drone. They were digging a hole to try to do something like that. So we prevented things from happening by having technology, is why we want to have our own drone here in Falmouth, and I'm working towards that right now as well. So it went very well. We're in full planning mode 2 weeks from yesterday for the Falmouth Road Race. So when that's done, things hopefully will wind down for the police department a little bit going into Labor Day. But like all of you, you know, love supporting our visitors and everything else coming. But I think we need a little bit of a rest too. So not sad to see things wind down a little bit in the coming weeks. So that being said, I am going to be leaving. I've got a lot to do today, gearing up. Does anyone have any questions for me before I go?
I'd like to commend you for what you've done. On July 4th, I saw the drones, I saw the state troopers. We saw the state troopers at all the intersections, so that allowed you guys to have easy flow throughout the town. It was amazing what you did.
Well, thank you very much. No, I appreciate that. If you saw the ops plan that goes into that event, we plan for everything. We plan for, you name it, we plan for it. And the same thing for the Falmouth Road Race, you know, and I'm very proud of our staff. It's not their first rodeo, now it's not mine either. I've been through it twice now. But it really is a phenomenal police department. It's a great place to work. Love going to work every day. And I have a staff that every chief wishes they had the talent pool that I have. I'll say one thing Falmouth has done extremely, extremely well is hiring. They've hired some really, really good people, and I'm going to continue with that. Yes?
Have you found any place for a building?
I'm so glad you brought that up. So, she's asking if we found a place for a new building. No, we have a few sites, but today at 2 o'clock, I'm interviewing the last project manager group with the town manager, my deputy chief, the assistant town manager, the DPW director, and a member of the finance team. And then we're going to pick the architect firm. They're going to look at all the sites that we're presenting, and then they're going to pick a site, and then we'll go to town meeting for funding, for design. So it's moving. It's moving in the right direction. And you're absolutely right. We've done a few things to make it a little bit nicer. In the station, we've cleaned it up, and we got some furniture for some people and moved some things around to really better utilize what little space we have. Like, for instance, my deputy chief, I had no place to put that. That's a new position, so that was my conference room. So we're at the point now where there's just nowhere to put anything. We're basically throwing things out. We're tightening up some security at the station right now because we're probably going to be there 3, 4, 5 years. So the sooner we get out of there, the better. But today is the final interview, so we're going to pick the project manager. I can tell you that the one we interviewed last week was unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to what these folks have to say today at 2 o'clock, and then next month, hopefully, I'll have a report for you.
What's the plan for the trade-in of the long guys?
Oh, that's another good question. Thank you very much. So there's no trade-in for the long guns. So what we did with the long guns, so I'm not really sure why. They're very new, so they're worth a lot. So there's a device that I want to install on them it's called a suppressor. It's not a silencer, it's a suppressor. It lowers the noise volume. For instance, we can't qualify at the Mashpee range anymore because the rifles are too loud. They won't let us shoot there anymore. So what this device does is it lessens the noise from the firearm. So if you can imagine if we had, God forbid, a critical incident at a school or somewhere else, especially inside a building, that's very loud and that's going to affect your hearing. We're going to have a hearing loss issue. So what we decided to do, if you look at the weapon, on the top of the weapon, it's called an upper. So we're just going to basically remove that upper, replace it with a smaller one. It shortens the barrel, and then we're able to install the suppressor so they'll fit in the cruisers. And that does two things. One, it's definitely officer safety, public safety, health and wellness. But two, it's federal guidelines and law. Those firearms can't be sold to the public. So that firearm is federally, you can't purchase it. So I think the Gun Coalition folks are happy with that. We're happy with the health and wellness aspect. And then we'll figure out about the pistols because they are worth, it's just, I think, under $12,000, which is a lot of money. It's taxpayer money, and you can't just melt them. They're worth something, so we'll figure that out moving forward. But that's kind of what we're doing with that. We've talked about changing the barrels. We talked about trading them in. This was the best option. If you changed out the barrels, then they were saying, well, now you change the manufacturers. Would there be some liability to that? Maybe not, but we decided this was the best course of action to go. It doesn't alter the weapon in any way, and it basically it makes it so basically it's safer for the officers. Okay.
Thanks,
I'll let you do
Chief.
your thing, Jill. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you.
I'll see you next month.
Okay, so Candace is going to come introduce our guest speaker, but I want to remind you that it is being filmed from FCTV so that we can share with our community. So when we get to the Q&A section, just raise your hand and one of us will bring over a microphone, okay? We want to make sure the audience at home listens to your questions, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And thank you, everybody, for showing up today. My name is Candace Gears. I'm the Executive Director for Neighborhood Falmouth. And thank you to the Senior Center for inviting us here to do a presentation with Dave Karras. Dave Karras has been on the Cape for 25 years now? Not quite 25 years, but for an awfully long time, really helping older residents sort of retrofit their homes so they can age in place safely. For those of you that don't know, Neighborhood Falmouth is really dedicated to helping older adults in Falmouth age in place safely and comfortably. And with a great partnership with Dave, we've been able to really help some of our folks here in Falmouth. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dave. And thank you so much. And save your questions because he's a font of information.
Okay, you can hear me, I guess. Thanks for all coming today. My pleasure to be here. Thank you to Falmouth Neighborhood, Falmouth Senior Center. I've talked all over the Cape, and I really can't say I've seen a facility as beautiful and as well-equipped as this. You're very fortunate. Great leadership here. Chief is wonderful. So thank you to everybody, and I'm glad you came. So I do aging in place work. I'm a certified aging in place specialist. I also practice a lot of fall prevention work as well. I moved here briefly. I moved here from a blueberry farm we used to own up near Bar Harbor, Maine. And I moved here specifically to work with not just seniors, but a lot of my clients have had strokes. They've got MS, MD, Parkinson's, traumas, amputees, veterans. These are the people that I work with every day. My company used to be large. Right now, it's just me. I answer the phone. I'm happy to answer any questions. We're going to have a little question and answer period when I wrap up this brief presentation. My answers, my responses might be brief. We can always talk in more detail later. A lot of questions you might have. There's a lot of circumstances that help me formulate an answer, so we might not have enough time to get into all of that. So working on the Cape, I used to look at a lot of the fancy bathrooms, fancy kitchens for aging in place. Now I realize that it's really the basic things that we need to focus on here. Not everybody wants to age in place. I think maybe 15% of the population wants the comfort of being somewhere where help is right around the corner. But for those of you that want to stay at home a little bit longer, possibly save yourselves a bundle of money, nursing homes, assisted living, they're over $100,000 a year. Some of these simple things that I'm going to talk about real quick can help you stay in your home longer. Aging in place isn't one thing in particular. It's not Tom Brady throwing that touchdown pass. It's 100 different things combined. People fall. That's one of the big reasons you leave your home, sometimes permanently. And the fall prevention, the things I'll talk about, you should initiate them, you should practice them every day. It takes an effort. It takes a cognitive effort to not fall. Nobody wakes up and says, today's the day I'm going to fall on my bathroom tile and hit my head on the tub. So aging in place, a lot of the things may seem insignificant, but when you put them all together, you're really going to hedge your bets for staying at home longer. So aging in place, what is it? It's the ability to live in your own home and community safely, independently, comfortably, regardless of your age, income, or ability level. The things that we can do, the housing units in this country, there's about 115 million housing units. Very few of those are actually set up for 80%. For aging in place. Only about 10% are ready for seniors to move in. Again, I talk about seniors. We also talk about Parkinson's, stroke, things like that, other disabilities. Little history with the people I work for. 80% of the calls I get, people are reacting. I do a lot of work with Spalding, the Cape VNA, the senior centers, the Council on Aging, Falmouth neighborhood. These are all great, helpful people. 80% of my calls are people reacting to a situation. It's the 20% that I applaud that are taking steps to be proactive. So what can we do? I'm going to start off by kind of getting into your house. One of the biggest issues we have as we age is entering and exiting the house, which is one of my primary businesses, is to set up hand railings, safer stairways, wider entryways, things like that. A lot of times people don't have company visit, and the reality is your company can't get into your house. They're going to tell you they're busy, they can't make it for this reason or that reason. So you really want to make your entryway safer. The peephole on the left is a great idea. You never want to open your doors, the chief will verify. You want to take a look and see who's there. You want lever handles, which is on the right. This way, people don't need keys. Your neighbors can come, push a code, and access your house at any time. These are an example of some of the stairs we've done this spring. We've taken 1 or 2 brick steps, and we've turned them into 5-inch safe steps, is what we call them. We like to identify the front of the steps with a contrasting color. You see the photo on the right. It identifies the drop in elevation. This is critical anywhere in your house. Whenever you change elevations, you want to be able to pick up on that. Even though you've gone up that 1 step or down that 2 steps for 25 years of living in your home, it's important to have a visual cue. Our vision changes as we age. It gets a little bit yellowish over our eyes, and we don't always see things that we know are there. So it's a great idea to have a visual cue. Another example of a safe step on the left is aging in place is also, let's do the things that we like to do. Let's get out onto our deck. have an iced tea, maybe have a raised flower bed, maybe have a tomato plant or some flowers in an area that we can reach, even if you're in a wheelchair or you have to remain seated. The picture on the left shows what we can do to help get you in and out of that house. Picture on the right is really our standard railing setup. I don't work a lot with fancy balusters and wrought iron. I work with a American with Disabilities Act and ADA approved hand railing. It's the right grip size, and it really gets the job done. Wheelchair ramps are also going to help you get in and out. And this happens to be a black ramp, doesn't quite stand out as much. If aesthetics is important to you, this might be a choice you would make. When you consider ramps, we don't want to do wooden ramps. Wooden ramps are slippery. Typically, they're pressure-treated wood. Pressure-treated wood is toxic. It's loaded with really nasty things. I personally won't use it. I won't saw it. I don't even like to be around it. So if you have to do a ramp, you have a choice of a silver ramp, a black ramp, and also consider your pet. Some of these treads are very aggressive. This particular ramp, the treads can have a dog run up and down with no issues. Some of the other ramps, they're a little more aggressive. Again, here's another ramp. A woman wanted to continue to get out to her patio with friends and neighbors. So we get people in and out. We can configure it to anything. The picture on the left just simply shows coming into a sunroom, this woman needed a little bit of help. This is a typical railing that I use to get in and out of a garage. In and out of a garage seems to be one of the most difficult things that people can do when they want to drive. If you have a garage, use it in the wintertime specifically to keep the snow off of it. Another example, the left, the woman's in a wheelchair. It's really easy to put a ramp like this out. It's not a ton of money to make it, and it's simple for removal. If you didn't want it there, you just lift it up, you can push it aside and entertain with more people or whatnot. The right-hand picture just shows, like a lot of Cape homes, they have an outside bulkhead. The stairs on a bulkhead typically are very steep and obviously very hard. That's one area you really don't want to take a fall. So again, hand railings, we can put them anywhere. One of the reasons people fall, the biggest reason I think people fall, is they lose their balance. As we age, the number one thing that affects us is our ability to stay upright. So your balance diminishes. We lose muscle strength. Our vision gets impaired, a little bit blurry. You get a little dizzy. You can practice your balance. There are a lot of great websites that help you do that, and I strongly suggest that you look for some of those. One of them is AARP, or we call it ARP. If you go to AARP and you Google their Home Fit, it's just HOME-FIT. They have a Home Fit guide. That's an illustration of all the things that I do, and it does it in a very organized way. You open it up, it shows the kitchen, and it'll highlight different areas of the kitchen with a number. You find that number on the page next to it, and it's going to tell you. We like to see D-rings on our cabinets. Instead of little pulls, we like to see a ring you can slip your hand behind. No dexterity needing. No dexterity needed. So AARP is a wealth of great information. There are other websites as well that'll help you practice your balance. These are the things that help prevent a fall. Whenever somebody falls on my watch or I get a call, I always want to find out, what were you doing? How did it happen? Because that helps me to explain to you things to do to help prevent it. So trying to improve your balance really is one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you today. As far as your vision and looking and seeing elevation changes, make sure you have your eyes checked once a year, because, I've met clients, they said, I haven't been to the eye doctor in 4 years. That's not good. You want to make sure that your eyeglasses are updated yearly. Have an eye exam and make sure you have the proper prescription. You want to see that change in elevation. You want to see that cushion that fell off, or the slippers that you were too tired to move away from your bed the night before. So that's all important as well. So now that we're in the house, we've gone through a door, we have a peephole, we feel safe, we've come into the house. The bathroom is an area of grave concern for all of us because surfaces are hard. Tubs are hard, floors are hard, it's a wet environment. What we like to do in there, not everybody can take a tub out and put a walk-in shower. This picture shows exactly that. My business was in the east side, was in Providence, Rhode Island for most of my career. I did mostly bathroom remodeling, so I understand the ins and outs of bathroom intricacies. To remove a bathtub and insert something like this is relatively easy. We like to see seats in the shower or the bathtub. You can put a seat in either. This particular seat that I use, it folds up. So if you don't need it and somebody says, you know, I just want to go in and do my thing, you fold it up. You want a grab bar in there. I use grab bars that have what we call a wet grip, meaning if it doesn't have a wet grip to it, a smooth grab bar is going to be slippery. We like to see receptors, which is the actual floor of this, even if it's a bathtub or your existing shower floor, we like to see slip resistance on it. Things fall. You don't wash all the shampoo down the drain after you're done. Maybe the bottle of conditioner drips and gets onto that floor. They have skid strips. It's a simple matter for anybody, nephews, nieces, anybody that you can get over there. Wash that surface, put those skid strips down, and I think that'll really hedge against a fall. It's getting in and out of the bathroom or the shower that is the biggest concern to me. So if you look at the picture, either of these pictures actually, they both show seats in a shower. When you guys shop for seats, a lot of my clients, where did you buy it? They bought it on Amazon. A lot of people go to Amazon. I think that's okay, but you don't want to buy the cheapest seat you can find because some of these seats that I find are wobbly. Some of these seats don't have suction cups on the feet, so they slide as you try to go in and sit down. The proper way to get in and out of a shower is you want an entry and an exit grab bar, and that is going to be this grab bar right here, or this grab bar right here. So the entry and exit bar, that's the key bar. You want to grab that, step into your tub or step into your shower receptor, grab the other hand, step over, and before you let go, this is critical at two areas in the bathroom, you want to raise your chin up. Because people that are focused on this step, which is what you want to do, I'm watching where my foot's going, they let go and they take a step and they get dizzy or they pass out. You want to raise your head. Count to 3, count to 4, count to 5. Let your blood pressure acclimate before you take that next step. Bathroom floors are slippery. Maybe shed a little bit of water while you're inside the shower or the tub. Try to have a towel right outside so you don't have to go with a wet feet and go across the room to grab a trowel. Try to keep them somewhere convenient. The unit on the right-hand side, you can see there's a hand shower. And this is something that almost everybody I work for approves me to do. This hand shower goes where the shower head used to be on top. You can leave a shower head up there and attach a hose to a simple valve. The reason we like this is when people go in shower, if they're going to sit, it could just be somebody shaving their leg. It could be a whole bunch of other reasons. But when you go in and you turn that valve on and you get wet, shut the valve off, you apply soap. Turn the valve on, you rinse it off. You shut it off, you wet your hair. You turn it on, you rinse. Every time you turn it on, your skin is a little warmer. You're turning it up a little bit hotter. People get burned. This hand shower has a shutoff on it. From outside the shower, you turn it on, you hold the hand shower, and you say, that's the temperature I want. You simply click that hand shower off and hang it up. Now you can take your time, get in, whether you can get in alone or whether you need assistance. You get into the shower, you sit down, and now all you're doing is click, 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 click. Water temperature in the bathroom. The federal government says you can't be any hotter than 120 degrees in your house. The shower temperatures, I like to see them lower than that. I like to see them about 115 degrees. The 120, I check water temperature with every grab bar I install. It's not uncommon to find them over 140 degrees. That's scalding hot. As we age and our skin thins, our ability to sense that hot or cold sensation diminishes. So you can get burned rapidly. Make sure it's at 120 degrees. You can see they both have slip mats in them, which is something that I think is great as well. Another picture here. This is just simply that seat that attaches to the wall. Oftentimes, we try to find wood structure behind there, but it's not always necessary. A lot of my old school clients, They refuse to have a grab bar installed because there isn't a wooden stud there. We really don't need wooden studs anymore. We have things that have replaced that. If I can find a wooden stud, fantastic. If I can't, I make the call. Do I feel comfortable? Can it support 500 pounds of pull force on it? If I feel that's the case, I will go ahead and put it in. These are assistance rails. We call them PT rails that we install next to the toilet. The toilet is the second most critical area for people in a bathroom getting dizzy and passing out or falling. When you're on a toilet and you stand up, you have to raise your chin. You have to count to 5 and make sure your blood pressure is acclimated. You've just gone to the bathroom, and that's when you really get dizzy. The protocol on a toilet is if you don't have a PT rail, you should have a grab bar. Spalding will, the VNA, they'll tell you that's a really important spot to have. It helps you to go down, it helps you to go up. Once you stand up after using a toilet, you absolutely have to turn around and shut the lid. If you don't shut the lid and you flush that toilet, the pathogens in that bowl get released, and we can swab your bathroom and find those pathogens everywhere. Shut the lid, flush the toilet. Third step, go wash your hands. C. diff does not die with alcohol. It must be hot water and soap. As we age, it gets difficult to clean ourselves. You need to wash your hands. Anybody will tell you when you're at a sink and you're washing, you're splashing water around. So it's critical you don't have anything that goes in your mouth on your vanity. Toothbrushes, water picks, dentures, and mouthwash cups can't be there. One of the goals with aging in place with me is aesthetics. I like to try to use things that blend in, that don't make it look like a nursing home. An example of that is the right-hand picture. That's a toilet paper roll that's also a grab bar. There are 3 or 4 or 5 different styles of toilet paper grab bars. There are different finishes. The grab bars also come in different colors, different shapes, different sizes. Those are the things, when I get a phone call, we work it out together. I don't come in like most contractors on the Cape and say, this is what we're going to do, like it or not, this is what you're getting. I have a discussion with you. We decide together where you want it, where is it most advantageous, what style, what color, what location. Together we decide. My items are priced a la carte. I don't just say, here's a bill. We discuss everything up front. I'm happy to talk to family members, nephews, children. Let's decide together what's the best action to take. That brings me to another point that I missed earlier. A lot of my clients are really resistive to do anything in their homes. I get the call, typically I get calls from the daughters. I don't know where all the sons are, but it's typically the daughters that call me. And they say, my mom and dad need some things, or my uncle or my aunt or my godfather, whoever it might be. I want to let you know, Dave, they're really resistant to it. They don't think they're aging. They don't think they're going to ever fall. Again, falls, you don't wake up thinking today's the day. What I like to tell these people is, I talk to your daughter, I talk to your nephew, and they cry at night sometimes. They worry about that phone call that you've fallen because you didn't put a grab bar into the tub and you've cracked your head on the toilet. So not only are you helping yourselves, but you're really putting a lot of other people to ease. My mom's 95. She still lives at home. I've aged and placed her house as best I could. My family feels more comfortable. Her group, her bridge group, her neighbors, everybody feels more comfortable that things have been done. So you really shouldn't resist it when we talk about doing some of these things. Here's an example of exactly what you don't want to do. You'd be surprised how many bathrooms I go into, typically not with a coffee pot next to the toilet, but you can see there's a toothbrush right there, and there's mouthwash cups, there's the handle to the hairbrush right there. All of those pathogens, they move around, and they splash when you wash your hands. You really need to clean up your act in the bathrooms. If a client says to me, my toothbrush has been on that counter for 40 years, I don't intend on moving it, I tell them, get some Dixie cups, little paper Dixie cups. Once a week, put it over your brush. Once a week, take it off your toothbrush, throw it out, put another one on top of it. It's really just that simple. Here's an example of a real simple job. It's 2 different jobs. I took a vanity out for people that were in wheelchairs. And all we do is we make a very simple, very accessible sink somebody can roll up to. Maybe you don't need a wheelchair. Maybe you're just on a walker for assistance, but sometimes wheelchairs are just more comfortable to move around with. People like to sit, whether it's in the kitchen, cutting vegetables for dinner, or whether it's in the bathroom washing up or brushing your teeth. Sometimes it's a good idea to sit. Take the strain off your knees, or maybe you had a knee replacement or hip surgery, things like that. So sitting is good, and these are very simple things we can do. The picture on the left, the blue bathroom, that's a touchless faucet. You see them in restaurants, you see them in airports. I think they're great. They're residentially approved. There's hundreds of styles out. You can either activate it with your hand, you can activate it by putting your hands underneath it, or you can activate it by touching it. It's called touchless, meaning touch it less. Now you come and use the toilet, you don't have to touch anything, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Looking at the floors in both bathrooms, we talk about floors and slip resistance. This is true for anywhere in your house. You don't want shiny floors. Shiny floors are slippery. They're beautiful. People tell me all the time, oh, we just had this shiny Carrera marble put in. Beautiful, but it's very slippery. We like duller floors. We like floors that have a slip resistance. If you're ever thinking about replacing a floor in the bathroom, your living room, anywhere in your house, ask the flooring company what the coefficient of friction is. It's called a COF. How slippery is this floor? It's critical because this is how people get hurt. People get hurt, people die all the time on stairways. As our vision gets impaired and as we lose our sense of elevation changes, I mentioned visual cues. I carry grip tape in a dozen different colors. People fall on the top step and the bottom step. Steps are really important to me because I've lost some very dear customers falling on them. When you look at the picture on the left, you really can't tell where the top step starts and where the bottom step ends. So I've put some red lines in there that show you. And this particular gentleman, he could not identify that top step drop. We'd rather see a second floor landing that is carpeted or hardwood, and then the floor treads are different colors. Then when you get down to the last step, we want to contrast that to the floor as well. It's really critical that you think about those things. Hand railings. You should have a hand railing on both sides of your stairs. If you can't afford to have a second one installed, put one on the, use the one on the other side. We like small hand railings, things you can wrap your fingers around. The most critical thing on a stairway, I've had horrific injuries specifically in the last month, is people aren't focused on what they're doing. I have a woman over in Osterville, severely hurt. She got to church over in Centerville. She's on the third step going up, and she saw some friends that waved to her. She waved back, and she immediately started thinking, am I going to sit with them? Where am I going to sit? She wasn't focused on what she was doing. She had a horrific fall. When you're on a stairway, you have one job and one job only. And it's not to answer your granddaughter going, Grammy, come down, I got to show you something. Or you're not going up because you forgot your purse, or you're coming down to have breakfast. What am I going to have? You have one job and one job only. That job is, where is my next foot going to go? Stair falls are really bad. Where's my next foot going to go? Left foot, right foot. Left foot, right foot. If it's easy to go down a little bit sideways with the railing, do that. It took me 2 months to perfect that in my own life, whether it's in my house, a sporting event, shopping out somewhere. It took me 2 months to perfect looking at where my next foot's going to go. Once you get down to the bottom and you're on your first floor, have a party. See what your granddaughter wants. Take the whistling teapot off, but pay attention to the stairways. It's really critical. Bed rails. In the master bedroom, a couple of quick things. If you use a bed rail, we don't want to use one like the one on the right. I had a client, fell out of bed, he was impaled on that, and it was a day and a half before they found him. If you use a bed rail, we want to see it covered like the one on the left. We don't want any entrapment points. People say, my head can't fit through there. It doesn't matter. Your hand can still fit in there. Sometimes people toss and turn at night, and they do fall out of bed. If you purchase a bed rail, there's two things that are critical. One is you want a webbing to cover it. The second thing is you want a strap. That strap's going to attach these legs, which slide under the mattress on the box frame. That strap's going to wrap around the other side of that bed frame, come all the way back, and you want to cinch it tight. All that does is prevents this sliding out. Amazon sells a lot of cheap bed rails. You don't want to do that. You want something a little better. Bed heights are important. If your bed's too high, cut the legs off it. That's what I did. I cut the legs off it twice because the first time it just wasn't quite right. I like to sit on the edge of my bed. I like to comfortably pull my socks on or take my pants off. You want to be somewhere around 20 inches. Depends how tall you are. So most chairs, like these chairs, are 18 inches. If that feels like a good height, that's the height you go with. A lot of my clients also get dizzy, they fall, they hit their head coming out of bed. When you wake up in the morning, you should never just get out of bed in a bedroom. You want to wake up, sit up against the headboard. If you want, put your feet over the edge. Take some breaths. Take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and move your feet. Wiggle your ankles up and down, just enough to get some blood going. People oftentimes, they wake up, they're hungry, they got to go somewhere, they get out of bed, they take a step, they go right down. Maybe your foot's asleep. Maybe you just aren't awake enough yet. So take your time when you get up. I like to tell people, when you get up in the morning, sit up, move your feet, go through your gratitude list. Think about the things you're thankful for. Then later on that day, maybe share that gratitude with somebody else. A lot of the people I work for are homebound, and I try to keep them mobile within their house. Most of you are probably, you don't look like you're homebound, so we do. We have a lot to be thankful for. A couple other little things, garages. People have a lot of difficulty getting in and out of garages, so I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve to kind of help it. The picture on the right is just a seat that helps you to stand up. If you have difficulty getting up, this is something you might consider. When you look for furniture, even the furniture in your own home, you don't want a soft, cushiony couch, soft, cushiony chair. My clients get stuck. I've gotten 2 phone calls in 3 years. Clients can't get up out of their couch. And one time it was a husband and a wife, couldn't help each other out. The cushions are so soft, they just sink. You want a firm cushion. The arms on your couches and the arms on your chairs, we prefer to see what they call a trunk arm. A trunk arm is just a flat arm. It's not one of the fancy rounded ones. You get a rounded arm, you go to stand up, your hand can slide right off. A trunk arm's going to have a better grip as you try to move. Simple things inside, big buttons on a phone. The phone on the right just shows it can also bring up the actual words that the other person is saying. Those things are pretty good. Phones now have lights to it, strobe lights. This is something nobody thinks about, and I know nobody knows what it is, but it's a mini split. You need to clean your mini splits every 2 years because that's pushing out moisture-laden air sometimes, or it's taking it in. This is what happens inside a mini split. It's moisture, it's temperature. They get moldy. As we age, mold is not our friend. So have your mini splits cleaned. It's called a bag cleaning. They're very simple. Change the filters in your home heating system. If you have a hot air system or an air conditioning through ducts, you want to change your filter at least 4 times a year. They're inexpensive. Home Depot, you can go buy a half a dozen of them for under $20, I bet. They're easy to change. A neighbor, a friend, a nephew, change them often. It's really critical. So a little bit of a recap here on some of the really important things. You want to make your entries and exits low steps, as easy to get in and out of as possible. You want to secure your doors at night. Leave a light on outside. Use peepholes. Light your area up really well outside your house. These LED lights, they don't cost anything to burn. They cost a couple of dollars for a year to leave them on 24/7. Be careful of scams, phone scams, door knock scams, internet scams. If you're in any doubt about what's going on, you should just call your institution. Whoever they say they're representing, hang up the phone and call them. Websites today are duplicated exactly like the real websites from banks and credit card companies. So you want to be sure. You need stair railings at all your doors. First floor bathroom and a bedroom. If you can get on the first floor, that's the thing to do. A lot of people don't have a bedroom on the first floor, but you know what? You can easily convert some space for a bedroom on the first floor. Clear pathways, critical in a house. Tape down your carpets. If you have any carpet that lifts up or any carpet that slides, they have to be removed or taped down. That is a major cause of falls in a house. I've had people, grandma gave me this carpet, it was knitted in India 250 years ago. I don't care. Tape it down and get rid of it because I hear the stories all the time. No clutter just means extension cords, lights. You want to be able to get on a walker and clearly navigate through your house. Coffee tables that are glass topped, no good. You cannot see the edge of that coffee table. You're going to walk into it. If you're on blood thinners, you're going to bump it, you're going to hemorrhage. We like coffee tables that contrast the carpet so they're clearly visible. In the bathroom, we want grab bars with an anti-slip finish to it. Skid strips in the tub. Put a shower seat in. Use a hand shower with a shutoff. Always raise your head entering and exiting out of a tub or shower, and specifically getting up off a toilet. No shiny floors. You want to reduce glare. If these windows were open right now and anybody's had cataract issues or as we age, it's a big white blur. You're not going to see that chair that's been there for 30 years. You're going to trip over it. Pets. My mom was recently knocked down by a dog. She's doing fine, but she was recently knocked down. You have to watch your pets. Small dogs and cats are more dangerous because they get under your feet, but it's encouraged to have pets. A big part of aging in place is being happy. Low beds, sit before rising, use night lights. Stairs, you're going up and down with a purpose. Don't be thinking about that purpose. You want to look and see every step, visual cues at all elevation changes. Even thresholds, we don't want more than a 1/2-inch bump in your house. Firm cushions, the couch back should be close. It says no 5,000 K lighting. All that is when you buy a light bulb, it talks about the Kelvin scale. How bright's the light? White light stimulates you to stay up. If you're in your bed and you're reading and your lamp on your night table is bright white, that's going to actually stimulate you and not help you fall asleep. You want a 2,500, 3,000 Kelvin light. We need a lot of light in our homes as we move around, but just not when you're getting close to bed. Make sure your smoke and carbon monoxides are working. Every 10 years, throw them out, have new ones put in. Have a plan to get out of the house. File of life, they're available at the senior centers. If you don't have a file of life, ask them and take one home today. It identifies your family, contact information, doctors, medication. It's a different world at 3 in the morning if somebody in your house has a medical emergency and 911's on the way. It's a panic situation. 911 responders come in and ask you, who should we call? What are their medications? Most times you're not going to know. You're going to be in this panic mode. The file of life is going to help identify all those things. First responders, I do wellness days all over the Cape. They want to see reflective signs put out. It's foggy on the Cape at night. Put some reflective signs out. They'll know how to find you easier. Practice your balance. People fall because they lose their balance. Practice your balance. It's in capital letters for a reason. The other things with aging in place, just to wrap up, is it's not just grab bars and stairways. The number one thing I can suggest to age in place, well, kind of mentally, is stay social. That's the most critical thing in my book. Stay social. Have exercise every day. Even if you're only walking, exercise. Diet is important. No processed foods. Reduce sugar, reduce salt. I mean, that goes without saying. Limit alcohol. Hydrate. As we age, we don't have the sensation to drink because we're thirsty. Hydrate more. Stay social, stay active, volunteer, and this is a new one, and they're proving, they don't know why this works, but they're proving it works. If you engage in multi-generational activities, that helps stimulate things, and that helps keep you younger. All that means is you're interacting with a group, different ages. Maybe they're 20-year-olds, maybe they're teenagers, maybe they're 40-year-olds. That's something that I think would be great. And don't forget the AARP guide. So that's my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Yeah, we're going to get a microphone over to you.
Who's got the question?
Yeah, my laundry's on the first floor, and I have my bedroom's upstairs. How to get the clothes up and down without carrying a laundry basket?
They have chair lifts. I know that sounds a little extreme, but that's what my mom does if she can't get help. Chair lifts are wonderful. Sometimes they're donated. Sometimes if you're a veteran, there might be some available. I think chairlifts are great. Again, maybe you can still move around, but you're having difficulty on a stair. I don't know the simple answer to that one. Possibly just bringing your clothes, you know, a shirt and a set of pants down one at a time instead of carrying a basket. I don't know if that helps.
Thank you.
I would like to just make a suggestion about the laundry basket. I couldn't do the laundry basket, but I found I think it's a Costco, puts out the biggest bag I ever saw in my life, and it has straps. And you can drag it. So I drag all my laundry. Okay.
I don't have to worry about, I have the laundry on, we live on the first floor, we have guest quarters upstairs, but when I go upstairs, I sometimes want to bring down towels or other things. I put them in a tote bag and drop it over the stairs right down on the floor below. I just drop it, and that works very well. If it's something else I have to carry that may be breakable or something, I put it again in a very lightweight tote, and I carry it in over my arm and hold onto the banister with both hands. And that seems to work very well too.
Are there any government or any type of subsidies that help pay for or completely pay for renovations to a home to make it safer?
I'm sure there are. I'm not aware of them because things change rapidly. When I talk to the state, sometimes they're confused in Massachusetts about who covers what. I don't know if Candace would be able to help answer that question.
I'm just checking with outreach right now. It's something we'll look into and can help respond.
Will your slides would it be possible to have your slides made available to us?
Yeah, he'll send me the presentation, and I'll make sure everybody gets an emailed copy. So if we don't have your email, just make sure the front desk has your email, okay?
I just wondered if we have a copy.
Got this gentleman in there. Have you?
One thing we found at nighttime is that when it gets dark in the house, it's easy to trip. So we have night lights, little things you plug in the walls on all our rooms, so that we have a pathway from my bedroom to the bathroom and back with lights. I think that's important for me to have that pathway lit at night so I don't fall.
Yep, that's a great idea. I do have a 2-hour aging in place presentation that covers most of the things that we're thinking of. Today was a little bit condensed, but the night lights are super important. I go on Amazon and I buy a night light by a company called Mr. Beam, B-E-A-M. It has a little infrared sensor, it's battery operated. I tell people if you're gonna use them, put them under your bed, up near the headboard. As soon as your foot hits the floor, it's gonna illuminate your pathway all around the bed. Night lights shouldn't shine in your eyes, ever. They should illuminate your pathway. You never wanna go into a bathroom at night and turn on the light because it takes our eyes too long to recover. So night lights are really kind of critical. One other comment on the laundry. People have been tempted to cut a hole in the floor and have a little trap door that they can throw laundry down on. That's illegal. You don't want to do that. If there's a fire, there are really some guidelines to doing that, so resist that temptation to open up a floor and throw them down.
Have you ever done a renovation, putting a grab bar in a shower with tile, or a renovation with a grab bar where you couldn't find studs easily?
Right, I have, yep, I have. I do thousands of grab bars a year, and I've gotten pretty good at them. So I do everything but glass. Tile, porcelain, ceramic, fiberglass, acrylic. When I come to a house to do a grab bar installation, which is every day, I determine if that shower can support that. A lot of times shower walls, specifically the back wall, might be a little flimsy or there's some movement to it. I won't do anything with that. But I will be able to find with glass or some of the better units, I'll be able to put grab bars up. We also use a lot of assist bars, which is a step down from a grab bar, not in the shower area, but to move around the corner at a set of stairways or that last step into the house from the garage. And I'm available. There's some cards that were passed out with my number. I answer, you call me anytime, I'd be happy to talk with you and answer questions. Any other questions?
Oh, we have one here. Go ahead.
What's the best type of strip to put on carpets? I've tried several, they don't work, or if you have an area rug that you want to clean or that you want to wash a rug, then it comes off. Can you recommend the best type of?
You want to buy something that isn't cheap. I'm not sure of the brand that I use, but I clean the floor. I just clean it simply with just water. And then the carpet, you want to either vacuum it or knock off any of those loose fibers. And I tell people, take your carpet where it sits, right where you want it, and just flip it up and put the tape on the carpet and then just flop it back down and step on it. And that should help. It doesn't last forever because carpets are wool, carpets are nylon, carpets are a lot of different things. That double-sided tape isn't going to stick to that forever. So you might have to change that. People buy carpet mats. It looks like a thin, like wrapping paper, but a little foamy, something you'd line your shelves with up in your cupboards. Those sort of things are good, but they don't last long either. After a couple of years, they start to slide. I wanted to mention one other thing that I forgot. In your bedrooms and in the kitchen, the things that you use most often are where you want to put in the easiest to reach places. So in the summertime, all your summer clothes should be in these drawers right here. Go into your walk-in closet, your summertime stuff should be right here. Once fall and winter come around, move them somewhere else. Put the winter clothes right there. In your kitchen, the mug and the plates and the things you use every day, you don't want them on this shelf, and they're probably on, but you don't want them up there. Even if you want to leave them out on the counter, that's fine as well.
We have, in addition to the grab bars in the shower that was done when our tub came out, we have a small vertical handhold right outside the sliders, the glass sliders that are for the shower, which is very nice because you can grab that as you step out.
Sure.
And what do you think about, they're very hard to find now, but we do have a small carpet outside the shower, and I like to have the bath mat on that. And it's really hard to get a bath mat anymore. And you want to wash it all the time, and you don't want to wash a little shag rug all the time.
Right, you want a solid bath mat, and as far as where to get them, you have to just shop around. Something that isn't going to peel up, and it's also something that is fairly waterproof. A lot of the shower mats that I look at, because mold is an issue, mold and mildew is a serious issue, I pull the bath mat up and the underside is black, so you have to make sure to check them. The bar outside the shower, those are great. That might be an assist bar. That's where, when I come to your house, we decide together, because a lot of my clients with stroke, Parkinson's, they have a dominant vision side, they have a dominant grip side. We make those decisions together. Where's it going to help you the most? But thank you for mentioning that.
Great, well, thank you very much. And again, we will send the presentation to you all, and if you have specific questions to your own home, by all means, you can give them a call, okay? Great, thank you very much.
Great, thank you for coming.